The Northwest Georgia High School Football Scoreboard is brought to you by Alfa Insurance, Al Smith Agency. See them for all your auto, home, and life insurance needs. Call Al Smith at 706-529-6786. All right, welcome in to the Al Smith Alfa Insurance High School Football Scoreboard. I'm here with Chris Napier and Brooks Carter, who just jumped on just a second ago. You never know it. Um, uh, what games are y'all at tonight? We'll talk quickly about the games that y'all are at and what you saw tonight.
Go ahead, Brooks.
Well, I was at Ringgold and Cahola Creek tonight. Ringgold had a home playoff spot on the line. I'm pretty sure they wrapped that up with a win tonight. They won in dominating fashion. You couldn't tell what game I was at, by my attire. Those who have loyally watched us this season know that what team I'm affiliated with. But I try to be as non-biased as possible. Ringgold's a really talented team. I would expect them, especially with a home playoff game, to potentially win a game, maybe two. I mean, they got 25 seniors on their squad. It's a very senior heavy team. They've got a really good playmaker at wide receiver, Keyshawn or Keyshawn Taylor. It's spelled like Keyshawn, but I think I heard the PA guy say Keyshawn. But dude took it 92 yards on the very first play from scrimmage for Ringgold tonight. He had well over 100 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns. He's electric. He was third in the region coming into tonight in receiving yards, and they got a good senior quarterback to distribute the ball around, and they've got a potent offense. I know Chris has probably seen them at some point this year because I think he was at the North Murray game. I don't know what North Murray did to slow down this offense or what happened in that game. I know it was a very close game, but Ringgold goes into the postseason with 3 losses, and all of them were by like a combined 5 points.
Yep. Because I think it was just 1 or 2 points there at North Cobb Christian, and it was a 1 point loss to North Murray, and
a 3 point loss to Rockmart.
Wow. It's pretty impressive. Ringgold is an impressive team. So I went over and watched Murray County play at LFO tonight, and the whole season didn't work out the way that Murray County wanted to. They took a tough loss tonight, 57-0 to LFO. They finished the season 1-9. LFO finishes up at 4-6. Let me tell you something about that LFO junior class. They have a chance to be something big next year. They play their cards right in the offseason, work hard. That's a very talented junior class that LFO's got there. Kid that stood out was number 14. I think his name was Jamie Hinton. That's an athlete. That's a dude. So watch for that guy next year. So he's looked pretty impressive out there tonight. Caught couple touchdown passes. One's a really long one. So, that was a big win for LFO. They went out in style. And I was covering the game for the paper. It's always hard to cover Game 10 because you watch these dudes take that helmet off for the last time, and it hits you right in the gut because you know exactly what they're feeling. And it's tough. It's tough to stand there and on the sideline after the game, seeing seniors on both teams take that helmet off for the last time. So, yeah, it's a tough night for me. Week 10 is always tough for me.
Yeah, I agree with you. I was there at Little Bighorn tonight to see the Coosa Eagles come in and spoil the party. Coosa managed to hang around early when it felt like Chattooga might have a shot to pull away. Coosa comes back and route to a 34-27 win, and puts their bid in. You know, they could get in the top 32. I think they're right there on the edge. That win could shake things up there. I'm going to be interested to see how far Chattooga falls. I know they were on the 16 line. they'll probably most likely, pretty sure, be out of home field contention. So they'll be on the road somewhere next week. 6 turnovers for the Indians tonight, and that is not a recipe for winning. Bright spot. Cook goes for another 300 yards, 30 carries for 304, and that puts him unofficially at about 27-24, which is just ahead of Nick Chubb's 2013 rushing record. So, um, which is probably around 15th, in the state. I think one of the guys from Washington Wilkes back in 2000 rushed for 31 something. So, um, great season, and they're not done yet, obviously. And Coosa hoping they can get in there and try their shot at another upset bid. So, Mr. Kennedy says, somebody tell Lawrence to get on this line. He took offense to Lawrence's upset special the other night. We'll talk about that one here in a minute, I'm sure. Speaking of that, I'm gonna go ahead and jump into the scores, and we'll just go. We'll go with the format that we've had, and I have not updated the region standings on the left. We'll just talk about the scores on the right. Carrollton keeps rolling with a 49-28 win over Douglas County. I do not have a East Coweta Chapel Hill score yet, so we're still waiting on that. Harrison beats Paulding County 38-17. Pebblebrook edges out Campbell 14-13. Excuse me, North Paulding with a 38-28 win over Marietta. North Cobb beats Wheeler 49-14 in that same region. Region 5-5A. Rome handles Kennesaw Mountain 50-3. East Paulding beats Billerica 21-10. And I think it was a third quarter score. South Paulding was beating Alexander 21-7. But you got an update on that one. Help us out there. Central beats Northside Columbus 38-7. I believe that locked up that region for Central. Woodland. I saw Woodland come back and beats Dalton 20-17. Grace Baptist beats Southeast in a close one 36-32 over Southeast Woodfield. Chestatee 30, GAC 20. That's an interesting game in that 6-3A region there. North Hall defeats Dawson 35-3. And in a very tight one, Lumpkin County defeats Pickens 29-26. Region 7 3A, Gilmer. Last score I had in the third quarter was 27-7 over Ridgeland. Heritage 17-7 over Adairsville. And Calhoun 38-24 over Lafayette. 7-2A, I had Rockmart over North Murray 28-7. And we talked about earlier, Ringo 42-3 over Cahola Creek. North Cobb Christian 44-24 over Union County. And big LFO win 57-0 over Murray County. Bremen defeats Darlington 54-14. Temple beats Model 43-22. Byrd County 42-15 over Pepperell. Dade defeats Gordon Central 29-24. And one heck of a game, which I was watching here and there when there was some dead time during the Chattooga game. Fannin comes back and defeats Gordon Lee 30-27. What a game there! That would have put it a 3-way tie for the top spot in that region, but Fannin wins that region outright. Like I said earlier, Coosa defeats Chattooga 34-27. Christian Heritage beats Armurchie 45-26. And Trine was defeated by Bowden 42-16. Trine was at one point up 10-0 on Bowden, and I'm not sure what happened after that. 42-16 was the final. I know that was a lot, but anything jump out? To y'all there?
Yeah, Fannin County. That game was little closer than I expected. Gordon Lee has really played well down the stretch here, and I saw them back in the spring. We actually played them in the spring game, and that was a team that at the time we stood toe to toe with. Cahola Creek did, and the way that they've come out and played this season, especially in the second half of the year, and to go toe to toe with Fannin County tonight, I thought that was really really an impressive score for Fannin County. I was curious. Second time in school history going 10-0 in the regular season. Last time 1995. So it's been quite a while since they've done that. They have had a few 10-win seasons here and there, but have not gone unblemished in the regular season in almost 30 years. So shout out to them. That's hard to do. That's really hard to do in high school football, especially for kind of one of those small town area, kind of small county schools like that. Those don't come easy to be able to do something like that. So this is a special group of kids to be able to pull that off.
One more score that significant to Fannin County. Savannah Christian defeats Toombs 14-7. So Savannah Christian take that one seed over to the privates, and Fannin County will be the number one overall seed in the 1A D2 bracket. So Fannin County winning the region, going undefeated, and gifted the number one overall seed.
Pretty impressive.
It's not official, but one would say.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Trying to think of what else kind of stood out to me. But Gordon Central just continues to play people tough. Dade, they went 2 Dade and won in a close or lost in a close one, 29-24. So that gives Dade another win. That probably pretty much puts them firmly in the playoffs. I think they were in as of last week. Win's going to help them out. The other teams are, kind of worried. Okay, what does Chattooga loss do? Where's it going to move them to? Up, down, sideways? Who knows? It's going to be crazy when I guess it'll be 2 weeks before we officially know, but I'm sure by Sunday afternoon we'll be hearing some pretty good projections on where teams may end up. But
yeah, I'm pretty impressed by that Gordon Central going up to Dade close game.
Gordon Central's continued to do it. Seemed like all year long. Gordon Central went to Fannin, and they got beat pretty handily, but it didn't feel like a blowout.
Yeah, and that's a tough place to play up there at Dade County. No matter who you are, it's a tough place to play.
Oh yeah. I went there with Chattooga the previous week, and Dade had 400 plus yards of offense, and we had 600 plus, and we needed every yard. We needed every yard to beat them. So, all right. So here's I know you guys don't cover them, but a score that jumped off to me was Jeff Davis upsets Fitzgerald 26-20. It shakes seeding up big time. Wow. Nobody wants to hear that. Give Fitzgerald a lower seed. They don't want to hear that, I'm sure, by going into the playoffs. Christian, long time no see, man.
One final I was going to point out that was probably a game that had the most playoff seeding significance coming into Friday night. Heritage knocking off Adairsville 17-7. That's a big time win. Heritage coming into that game was, if they lost, they were the 5 seed out of that region in 7-3A. If they won, they were the 2 seed because they have the tiebreaker over Northwest Whitfield. So big time win for them. That makes Northwest Whitfield now have to go out on the road to play in the first round of the playoffs. Potentially, I think so, because I think there's only like 2 at-large bids in that 3A because there's not as many private schools. Yeah. But I mean, you talk about a swing there. There's for Heritage knowing what was at stake in this game. If we win, we get to host, and if we lose, we are having to rely on an at-large bid and maybe being the 30th seed. Like we might have to go play like the Sandy Creeks of the world, and now they get to host a playoff game. So I mean that was a huge win for them tonight.
Yeah, because if you're relying on that at large, you could go anywhere. You could end up in Savannah, and that's not a fun trip.
And I think that with this clinches their 8th or 9th consecutive playoff appearance. I'm going to make a post coming up this week of I posted back in like January when I first started doing some stuff with NWGA of the longest active playoff streaks. I'm going to update that now, and Heritage would be among those teams.
Cool. I just got an update here. Mr. Terry says that the Dade score was 26-22 Dade, and GC led for the majority of the game. So Gordon Central led majority of the game, and Dade was able to come back and win.
Wow.
Another shout out to the Dade County boys.
They seem to have a formula, don't they, Benton? They start slow and finish the season strong. That's what they did last year. You know, they went 5-5 in the regular season and wound up ripping up a couple playoff wins once they got into the postseason.
Yeah, only been 12 years. He's one of my buddies I used to work with in a previous job about 12 years ago. I had to catch up with him after the show. But yeah, I mean, Coach Poston has done nothing but win since he took over at Dade, and it's always been a tough place to play. Even harder now that he's there, and he's a good dude too, so that makes it even better, you know. Alrighty. So I don't think looking forward, I don't think we have any teams, especially in our area, but we don't have any teams in the North Georgia area that play next week, correct?
No, I don't think so.
No, not that I can think of.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think it's just going to be kind of the waiting game. Maybe go back, get a healthy, maybe figure out who you play. Start preparing for them. Terry says, cardiac Dade. That's what he's calling them. Oh, man. Hey, as long as they get the job done, doesn't matter how, right? You'll take it.
Yeah, maybe the ambulance is more for the fans than the actual players. How about this? Benton and Chris, we're talking about Carrollton wrapped up their region down in 6A tonight with a win over Douglas County. Joey King, his numbers are they seem fictional as a head coach. It's almost like something from like a guy who's playing on like freshman mode on Dynasty and NCAA or something like. So he's only lost 9 games still. He's won I think it's like 115-9 is his career record at this point. But of the 9 seasons that he's coached varsity football as a head coach, 6 of them he's finished unblemished in the regular season, 10-0. And that adds to it tonight with a 10-0 regular season at Carrollton.
That's pretty impressive.
I mean, it, like I said, it doesn't even seem real.
And that's great coaching because that's not just a couple good classes coming through. You've got to do that multiple times. So,
it's in his 9 seasons, he's 114-9, which is 92%. I'm pretty sure.
I mean, the win percentage is just unbelievable. I
2
mean,
state championships and 8 region titles in 9 years.
yeah, I mean, I know they're wanting one at Carrollton this year because it's been 25 years since they've won one. 1998 was the last one they won one at Carrollton. And, Lawrence made the prediction like all the way back on like the first time we did a show at all for 2024. I think it was like, back in like January or February. He said his bold prediction was that Carrollton would win a state championship. I don't know how bold that was, but
Yeah.
He got less bold as the season went.
So he'll be joining a lot of other people making that same bold prediction because that's what I think. Because they are loaded.
Oh yeah, certainly so.
Oh yeah, it's just it's just talent everywhere. I mean, every position you could think of down there. I have a comment here that says, "What about Cartersville's Connor Foster? He is 68-7."
I mean, that's a great record still for sure. I mean,
getting it done.
Yep.
That's one of those programs that if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You just got to come in and kind of be a good coach, do your job, and let the athletes do their thing there, man.
Yep. Well, I'm going to run back through the scores one more time, and we'll get out of here. Go back to the big boys first. Carrollton 49, Douglas County 28. Still don't have a East Coweta Chapel Hill score. Pretty far away from here. We'll get it and update it later. Harrison 38, Paulding County 17. Pebblebrook beats Campbell 14-13. North Paulding defeats Marietta 38-28. North Cobb with a 49-14 win over Wheeler. Rome keeps rolling with a 50-3 win over Kennesaw Mountain. East Paulding, I believe this was the upset pick that he was calling Lawrence out on. He picked Villa Rica. East Paulding wins 21-10 over Villa Rica. Latest score I had on South Paulding Alexander was 21-7 South Paulding. That was probably over by now. Central beats Northside. I'm guessing that's Columbus 38-7. Woodland defeats Dalton 28-17. Grace Baptist 36, Southeast Whitfield 32. Chestatee defeats GAC 30-20. North Hall over Dawson 35-3. And Lumpkin defeats Pickens 29-26 at Pickens. I believe that effectively eliminates Pickens from playoffs unless they get some kind of at-large, which I don't think they will at this point. Late third quarter score last I had was Gilmer 27-7 over Ridgeland. Heritage defeats Adairsville 17-7. Calhoun beats Lafayette 38-24. Rockmart 28, North Murray 7. Ringo 42-3 over Cahola Creek. North Cobb Christian defeats Union County 44-24. Lakeview, Port Oglethorpe beats Murray 57-0. Bremen handles Darlington 54-14. Temple 43, Model 22. Heard County pulls away from Pepperell and wins 42-15 over the Dragons. Updated score 26-22 Dade, and someone said Gordon Central led most of the game. Dade wins it late. Region championship here. Fannin wins the region 30-27 over Gordon Lee. Probably one of the biggest upsets of the year. I don't remember the number, but I think it was a couple scores. But Stuga is defeated by Coosa 34-27. Christian Heritage defeats Armurchie 45-26. And Bowden defeats Trine 42-16. So Bowden will get the second home playoff spot. Just think if you're going against that region there, you got the number 1 seed Manchester, number 2 seed Bowden, and And Trine is not a 3 seed that you're going to mess with because they're pretty good as well. But that's going to be tough. Trine's probably going to end up way down south somewhere, so they'll have to try to take a big crowd down there and pull an upset against 2 seed.
Yeah. So when do you guys think we'll start seeing some playoff pairings coming in?
Uh, Unofficially, I would say our guy probably have something Sunday. You might hear something sooner than that. I know a lot of coaches, maybe not a lot. Some coaches have people that have the formulas and everything, and they'll try to put the wins in and all that. But our guy goes directly off of what GHSA scores that they put in online. So I'm normally by Sunday or Monday we have an updated thing, but obviously there'll still be some more updates after that. But
I think a playoff preview show is in order, and we'll have to get we'll
I,
have to get Lawrence on there to.
I'm guessing that Wednesday. I think this past week we did our preview show or pick them on Tuesday, so I'm guessing Wednesday about 7, and then we should have all the information we need to at least talk about something.
And Lawrence is going to have to come on to answer for some of his picks, I guess.
Yeah, he'll have to. He's going to have to. Miss Tia. Hey, Miss Tia, she says, Trine runs 20 million formations. Goodness gracious. She must have been at that Bowden Trine game tonight.
Yeah, I think she was getting on us because we unanimously all picked Bowden on Tuesday. So,
well, she's a Bowden fan. So,
okay, I'm thinking of somebody else. Then my bad.
we all kind of talked about Trine as in Trine would have a puncher's chance. I think I heard those words come out, and she wasn't buying that. And early they did land some punches. They were up 10-0. I'm gonna have to go back and watch it and see what happened after that. But 42-6 after that point. So
you'll have to get Tia on the Pick'em show here for the playoffs.
Hey,
she come on the Pick'em show one time and smoked all of us.
She smoked us all. She did.
She was undefeated that week.
We're gonna have to look that show up, and we're gonna have to put some snippets out. She did. She was near undefeated that week. It was crazy.
Yeah.
So 2 things, Benton. I was just thinking about going through the scores there. I did look it up. 25-point spread was the Chattooga-Coosa game.
That's what I thought it was. At least 3 scores.
And then secondly, I looked this up. Jonesboro upset Stars Mill tonight. So there's a 3-way tie between Central, Jonesboro, and Stars Mill. For the region title, I have no idea what happens in that tiebreaker scenario.
Yeah. So there's a lot to learn about how that's going to match up. But Tia says she enjoys us. We appreciate you joining us, Tia.
Thank you, Tia. And the weird thing about those tie breaks, they could be different from one region to the next. So
here's a question that y'all might can answer. This is right in y'all's area. Does Sonoraville still have an outside shot to get in the playoffs after tonight?
They're close. I mean, they were right there. LFO is ahead of them, though. I think I saw that they were like 34th. So like they're outside looking in. I don't know what happened with a lot of those other teams tonight, though. Here's the thing: they would make it in if it was purely based off power rankings and it wasn't considering the top 4 seeds from each region making it. If it was that way, they would actually make it in. But I think they might just be the first or second team out, wind up being that because of the auto bids from each region. There's a couple of teams that are just awful that are in like 4 or 5 team regions that are just making it by default, which sucks because I'm sure Sonoraville's I've seen Snorkel. They've got some pretty good talent, and would probably smoke those teams. But I think they might wind up on the outside looking in, but they're going to be close.
Here's another question. Don't forget, we will most likely have a show. We'll put it out there, but I'm going to say 7 Wednesday. We'll have some more information. Come back and see us. But Mr. Ledford's asking, is Chattooga looking at traveling for the playoffs or at home? It looked like before tonight a win would put you at home and a loss would put you on the road. So if I was a betting man, I would bet Chattooga will be traveling next week unless for some reason a lot of teams around them lost, which I don't think they're going to get that lucky. So I would say a 16 seed last week, probably 18, 19, 20, in between there, probably drop 3 or 4 spots.
Which honestly, Benton, that may not be the worst deal because if they won a first round playoff game, they'd have to go play the number 1 overall seed if they were the
They'd be back
16th
at
seed.
Fannin if they were, they'd be back at Fannin again.
So they may have actually caught kind of a I know you don't want to drop a football game, but they may have caught a break from a seeding standpoint.
Yeah, you never know who you're going to get matched up with. I got a text here a minute ago from I'm sure he won't mind me saying, but from Coach Poston from Dade saying, "Man, that Coosa win that jumbles it up. Now we don't know who we're going to be, facing. They kind of had an idea, as of last week. Now it's going to be, it may be somebody that they don't necessarily want to. Not that they don't want to face, but not as favorable of a matchup. Let's say that. I know that Rayburn County team is hanging around in that middle area, so somebody's going to either be traveling or hosting Rayburn, so they're around there somewhere. Let's see. Trying to think of. There's a couple other teams right in that area, but we'll see. We'll see more as it gets updated. Tia asked if there's any makeup games left. There are makeup games, but not for any of the schools that we cover, Tia. So I don't think we have anything next week. Eric says that he thinks Sonoraville's out and LFO's in. So
I mean that's probably right.
Yeah.
I think LFO probably locked up a playoff spot tonight. But my God, if Sonoraville was able to get in, though, 6 of the 9 teams in that region are already in the playoffs. If LFO makes it, if Sonoraville got in, it'd be 7 of the 9 teams, which is just crazy.
Yeah, I don't remember which region it was, but I looked at something the other day that had 8.
Oh, did Benton freeze?
I think Benton froze up on us.
Uh-oh.
He's saying 8 of the teams, and that's a good thing. 6 AAA used to be a 9-team region and only had them 4 spots. And for many years, they only had those 4 spots. And so being able to put many teams in the playoff with these teams at the old 6 AAA teams, I think that's pretty exciting.
Charles Israel just wanted to stop by and remind us that Heard County is undefeated and the region champs.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Charles.
They had a great year, man. I think their win total jumped 5 wins this year, and tack on a region championship with it. You get a 1 seed in the first round, get to host a playoff game. It's a big year for them. They got a lot of talent, and one thing I think that's really key to mention about when you talk about Heard County the last few years, they've had a lot of turmoil within that program. They've lost a couple of players, like loss of life type deal with just some unfortunate incidents down at Heard County. And, that can't be easy on a coaching staff and the players and whatnot. I think it's a big deal for them to be able to put this together this year, considering kind of what's gone on the last couple of years with losing a couple of players to a loss of life.
Yeah, so I'm seeing action on the GHSA website already. It's updating live as the scores go in, and we'll have to extrapolate all these private schools out. But right now, I've got Rayburn County sitting at the 32 seed. Once you pull all those private schools, that's going to bump them up. Gordon Central sitting at the 40 seed, Coosa at the 42 seed. So, got to count how many private schools are ahead of them. But that's going to be really close for both of those schools.
Ben, they really do need to put an asterisk next to the private schools. I know you were complaining about that.
I don't know how hard. I mean, it cannot be that hard. They know who they are. I actually created a list so I could look and say, and I know who most of them are, but they need to put an asterisk by the private schools in that thing, so we can just look at it.
Or just create a whole different category of just the private schools with their power rankings.
Yeah, I agree.
That would make more sense to me.
Yeah, just pull them out and don't even put the private schools in. Say, okay, this is Division 1A public, and here is your A through 3A private. But anyway, heck, I'm looking at, let's see, Savannah Christian Fellowship, Athens Academy, Christian Heritage, Whitfield Academy. Let's see, coming on down, Landmark Christian, Mount Parham, Mount Vernon, Kings Ridge. All those teams are private schools.
They don't sound like public schools.
No. No.
That's the one that gets me when I start going down through there. That's the thought in my head when I start looking at them. It's like, that doesn't sound like a public school.
Yeah, you're right. A lot of times when you get those longer names or things that don't sound right, that's a private school somehow.
Well, certainly if it's got the word Christian in it, it's not a public school.
Yeah, or a lot of times if you get that Mount, the MT before it, it's a lot of times it's going to be a private school as well. But anyway, all right. Well, I think that's going to wrap it up for us, and we'll be back hopefully Thursday. You can check Northwest Georgia Football's Twitter page out, because I guarantee they'll be posting some things before that Wednesday show. But we'll gather all the goons up and talk playoffs.
Yep.
All right. Until next time, guys.